can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Niall. Delighted as always to be joined by Owen, and we're here in final prediction mode for this weekend's huge, undisputed heavyweight title fight from Wembley Stadium as the great Oleksandr Usyk will challenge IBF champion Daniel Dubois in a rematch, of course, of their controversial fight from a couple of years ago when Usyk stopped Dubois, but it probably could have been the other way around with the low blow controversy or the body shot low blow controversy. So yeah, Dubois has been riding the crest of a wave since, and he gets another crack at the phenomenal Ukrainian. So yeah, myself and Owen are going to be giving our final predictions for this one. Owen, without further ado, let's jump straight in. I hope you're well as always. So what is your final prediction for this one? Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois for undisputed.
Thank you for having me on as always. I do think we're going to see a masterclass from Oleksandr Usyk. I think he's going to make a statement to put it should have been stopped. You shouldn't have beat him first fight, etc. It was low. If you look at where the referee said in the first fight, where was low, Dubois hit him where the referee said was low. So whether people agree if it was actually low or not, the referee called it. So it's tough on that one, unfortunately. And we've seen what happened as soon as Usyk got up. It was levels were shown, in my opinion. So I think there's going to be even more levels shown. I think Usyk gets him out of there in round 6, round 7. I don't think this one goes a distance. I don't think we see the latter part of the fight. I think Usyk can sometimes, as he's working his opponent out, maybe not do too much in the first or second round, but I think he knows he's got the beating of Daniel Dubois. You look at, for example, the Hrgović performance. If you put Usyk in Hrgovic's boots on that night, Dubois gets stopped in 3 rounds. So it's if he does see round 6, round 7, then he's always got a puncher's chance. I just think that it's one of them where if you can't get Dubois out, he's going to come late if you don't get him out of there early, in a sense. But I think Usyk knows exactly how to beat Daniel Dubois, and I think we'll see what he did in the latter rounds early on, and get to him round 6 or round 7.
Yeah, very, very good points, and it's hard to disagree with any of them. Really, there's levels. I think that's you hit the nail on the head. There's multiple levels in between. It was proved in the first fight, barring that controversy, which I do agree it was low. Um, you know, that was bar that isolated incident. There was, it wasn't even remotely close, and I don't think that Daniel Dubois can make the necessary adjustments to get it done this time. Boxing wise, of course, he does have a puncher's chance, huge puncher, and he is riding the crest of a wave. That loss was probably the best thing that happened to Daniel Dubois in terms of his confidence. That thinking, people saying, "Oh, you should have beat Oleksandr Usyk." So credit to him. He's done incredibly well since that fight. But I just think, yeah, Usyk can do what he wants with him. We can spin him on his head. And there's no shame in that. I'm a Daniel Dubois fan, but Usyk is going to do this to most people. And yeah, I just think he can't kind of make the necessary adjustments to get it done. And I agree with you. I think it'll be a stoppage. I think it'll be around the same range that you said, around kind of 8 or 9, I'd say. I'd be surprised if it was, it's not going to be a one-shot KO job. I don't think it's going to be an accumulation against a third Daniel Dubois. But yeah, we're both going for the Usyk stoppage here. Yeah, and another great performance from the great man. But yeah, as I say, before we kind of wrap up, as I say, Daniel Dubois is riding the crest of a wave at the minute. Since that fight with the Miller wins, the Hrgović wins, AJ, we saw what happened there, becoming world champion. Let's say, as we say, stranger things have happened. Heavyweight boxing, let's say the huge punch in Daniel Dubois clips Usyk here and gets him out of there. Wembley would come unglued, I think. I really think it would. But where would it rank in terms of all-time British upsets for you?
It's a strange one, right? because it has to be up there. The problem is Dubois is a legit heavyweight. I think the loss to Joe Joyce done him a world of good. Even the manner that he did lose, you know, he was young, going into a big domestic fight that was going to lead to potential world titles, and he was very young for a heavyweight. So that probably made him turn from a boy to a man, made him realise what he needs. He needs what grit he needs. You know, is if you want to be a top heavyweight, it's going to be grueling. Um, so it's weird because you can't discount Daniel Dubois. However, Usyk is, you know, he's stapled himself as probably the best cruiserweight of all time and one of the greatest heavyweights of all time in 20 fights. So if he does it, you know, normally you'd say on home turf, it's not as much of a shock, maybe. Usyk doesn't have home turf. You know, it just seems that wherever he goes, he is the home fighter. Always fights away, but he always seems like it's his home, it's his backyard. You're coming to him, so it wouldn't be the biggest shock ever, in my opinion, but it is right up there because you know even Usyk's been hurt, he's been caught, but no one can figure the final piece of the jigsaw out. You know, it's a case of even when Fury was landing, you know, AJ in the second fight landed some lovely shots. Some Paul Kelly, ESBR specialist for AJ, would say that AJ had him on the ropes. I wouldn't go that far, but AJ did catch him. So it's just, even when you catch him, he's just such an anomaly to figure out. His footwork's unbelievable. So although it wouldn't be the biggest shock ever, he is an absolute all-time great. So it would be bang up there for me.
Yeah, again, hard to disagree. It would be absolutely huge. I know, like you have your Turpin Robinson, you have your Hunnigan Curry, things like that. But yeah, it would be seismic. But as you say, Daniel Dubois is a legit heavyweight, big guy, big puncher. And as you say, he also can be clipped. He can be clipped. It's just, what happens after that is as you say, the last piece of the puzzle. But yeah, there's also, you think would Usyk get complacent with having beaten him comfortably before? I don't think that. I think Usyk will be switched on. He's not that type of character to get complacent against anybody. But yeah, he is a great. And just what you said there, it's hard to believe within 20 fights what he's done. He's cemented his legacy so in such a relatively short period of time. But yeah, it would be a massive upset. Not to discredit Daniel Dubois,
Mhm.
tremendous fighter in his own right and coming in full of confidence. But yeah, it would be huge. But yeah, that's all we have time for. It remains to be seen. That was myself and Owen with our final predictions for this weekend's huge undisputed heavyweight title fight between Alexander Usyk, the phenomenal pound for pound talent, and a supremely confident Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium. Sure to be a great occasion for British boxing again. Dubois returning to the site of the huge AJ victory last time out. So yeah, he'll be up for it. So will Usyk. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with our final predictions? Myself and Owen of an Usyk stoppage. Let us know what you think down below. Get involved, and as always, don't forget, please drop a like on the video. First of all, subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing and follow us on all social media platforms. Owen, it was a pleasure and take care.
Pleasure as always, mate.